Hey guys, this is Mehnush from Ross IELTS Academy.
And I'm Samson, also from Ross IELTS Academy. Now we've come here today especially to talk together about the differences in two different formats of the IELTS test. We have the paper-based
And computer-based.
or computer-based.
Yeah, but before we get started, we would really like you to subscribe to our channel, because this way you show us that you like our videos and you're waiting for more videos to be produced for your IELTS exam.
It's very important for us, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and you may even want to visit our website to enroll in our amazing courses, which are bronze, silver, and VIP courses, which will really help you with your test.
Definitely will do, so.
Yeah, Samson, I took the computer-based exam a few weeks ago, and there
Okay.
were so many things I didn't know about it, and I would really love to tell you about them.
Well, I took the paper-based, as you probably guessed, but I'm very curious about this elaborate computer-based version, so tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. So you mean that you have never taken computer-based, right?
I haven't actually, so I'd like, tell us
There
what's going on.
is a lot to tell you. So we can get started with, okay, first you should get the gist of a computer-based exam. Just
Okay.
like the paper-based, there are 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The first 3, listening, reading, and writing, were held on the computer, but the speaking was like a real interview. It was in person with the examiner. So how does it work in paper-based?
Well, paper-based, we have the listening, the reading and writing. It's all on paper, as you probably guessed, but the speaking is, obviously it's the same. You have to be one-to-one with the examiner. That's how it goes. So tell me a little bit more.
It's quite identical then.
Yeah, it's very identical. It's the same thing. I mean, unless you're doing an online mock test, speaking, it's one-to-one.
Yeah, that would be totally different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to tell you more about the computer-based IELTS exam,
definitely. I want to know.
I was given a pencil and a paper, but the interesting thing about that was, once the one skill was over, the paper and the pencil were taken away from me, and they gave me another paper. Once the listening part was over, they took the paper, they provided me with a new piece of paper, and then again for the writing.
Oh, so that's quite tricky. So you wouldn't be able to go back and check what sort of style you had.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Like when I was in the listening section, as I used to do this in the, at home, whenever I was listening to some audios or I had some reading passages, I used to take down some notes, use the words, and just apply them in my writing or in my speaking. And I intended to do the same thing, but it wasn't possible because they took the paper and I had all my notes on that, so yeah.
Well, we had one paper and it wasn't taken away. We had it the whole time, but there's not much room. So if you want to make notes, you can only write it on the actual test paper.
Yeah, so I think you don't have an extra paper. It's just the reading paper or the listening paper. You can just use the space on that.
Just use the only space that you have right there.
Okay,
and then,
yeah.
That's how it works.
And I think there is also something else that you didn't have on your test day, because the paper-based exam is only on papers. There is no computer.
Absolutely, it's the old-fashioned version. So absolutely.
And there was something new about the computer-based.
Tell me about it.
That was about the on-screen tools and functionalities.
Oh, that's interesting. So many people are not informed about that, are they?
No.
There's lots of functionalities in that. So tell us a little bit about the details.
If you want to take the computer-based exam, you should familiarize yourself before you go to the center. Because there is no person standing there giving you instructions on how to use these different facilities or different functionalities.
And that's something to do with the IT technical side of things. So definitely, guys, be aware of that if you're going in for the computer-based version, because we've got none of that on the old-fashioned paper test.
I mean, there is. There is some instruction on that. If you just click on the help tab, it gives you the explanation on the task you're doing.
And was it helpful?
Not really, but it wasn't that hard, because there were so many useful things on the screen I didn't know about. For example, I can change the size of the text, or change the background color, or even highlight some words, which is really useful in IELTS exam, right? You sometimes underline the words, the keywords, and I had the same thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, we do have that. We're allowed to underline words, definitely, when it's on the listening
even
test.
in the listening section, Samson, I could adjust the volume. So I could just hear the voice much easier. It was possible to do that.
Oh, that's really good. So let's get one thing straight here. When you're talking about the listening test, you have a headphone, you have a private headphone all to yourself, and that goes with the reading and writing too?
Yes.
Oh, you're so lucky. You know, with us, you know, it's just the listening test when we're given the elaborate headphones, when it doesn't, you know, you're not distracted by noise around the room, and then it's taken away from us, and then we just have to hear the big loud voice echoing in the room, which is quite distracting, you know, so that's probably...
Yeah, that was a good thing about computer-based IELTS exam, because as you said, you just had the headphones, or even sometimes you don't have the headphones in paper-based, right?
That's
you
right.
just had it for the listening
Just
section.
for the listening section.
Yeah.
Just for the listening
But in
section.
computer-based, once I was given the headphones, after the listening section was done for the reading and writing, I could just keep the headphones. I mean, there wasn't any audio being played in the reading or writing section, but I could have them on because it blocks the noise coming from outside, so I could get more focus on what I was doing.
That's an advantage, in my opinion, because when you're in a test, you don't want to get distracted. You want to stay focused. So how about let's talk about the timing. I mean, if you're talking about the listening test or reading and writing on the paper-based, there is a clock in the room. And you can, you know, help keep track of the time. But you have to remember when your test actually started, so you can calculate how much time you have left to complete your answers, and you don't want to miss answers, otherwise you get marked down. So what's the timer or clock like on the computer-based version?
You know, I wasn't allowed to take my watch, so I think it goes the same. Yeah.
Oh,
not taking it off, because sometimes it's just on the computer, but you're not allowed to have any watch or something like that showing you the time. But you shouldn't worry, because you have a timer on the screen in the listening, reading, and writing section. That was
all
a
three
good
of them.
thing. Yeah, but something bad happened.
What's wrong with that?
About the timing?
What's wrong with the timing and the clock?
The thing is that in computer-based IELTS exam, you will have the timer on the screen, but only the minutes appear. Like you have 10 minutes left, you have 1 minute left, or 30 minutes left. So I didn't know how many seconds I had left.
Oh dear. So you're telling me that it gives you the timing of the minutes, but no seconds whatsoever?
No seconds on the screen. I mean,
that's quite
maybe
difficult.
Some people can manage and have no problems with that, but I wasn't aware of it.
Not everyone can time minutes, because some people really do have to look at the seconds.
That's fine, but when you have 1 minute left, and you need to see, like, I have now 30 seconds, I have 5 seconds. I couldn't see that, and I didn't really pay attention, because I was answering some questions in the reading section.
Dear, oh dear.
And yes, suddenly the screen was locked.
Oh, they lock the screen when the time is... Oh.
There is a timer flash on when you have 1 minute left, but I didn't notice.
Oh, it goes red, doesn't it?
Yes,
or something
it goes
like
red.
That.
And I didn't pay attention, so it was locked, and I was like, what happened? I was a bit confused.
Well, so perhaps be a little bit careful next time,
I should have been more careful.
And
you guys should be careful.
If you're taking the computer-based version, absolutely. So let's talk about the remaining minutes you have, just to check your answers. Because we have 10 minutes left to actually transfer our answers from the answer sheet to the test paper. And how does that work with the computer-based version?
Yeah, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the paper.
Yes.
In the listening section, from the paper
That's the listening section,
the
guys,
answer sheet, but we didn't have that 10 minutes.
They didn't give you how many minutes do they give you then?
We had 2 minutes at the end of the listening
section.
Only
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Isn't that more difficult? Or?
No, it was fine. It was fine. Because in the paper-based IELTS exam, there is a question paper, and there are some question papers and the answer sheets. But
you have to transfer them.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have that, do you?
No answer sheet. There is no extra answer sheet in computer-based. So you will just have to write the answers directly to the spot, and you don't need to transfer them.
That's quite straightforward then.
Yes.
So you only need the 2 minutes. You don't really need 10 minutes.
I didn't even need the 2 minutes. I just used the 2 minutes to revise some of my answers, or check the spelling of the words. So yeah,
You know,
it was
that's
quite easy.
That's quite easy. That's quite straightforward.
Yeah,
in
and
that
let
sense.
me tell you something else about the computer-based.
Oh,
I just remembered.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about moving around, like moving between the different sections.
Oh, right. You can do that then in the computer-based.
Yes, but maybe some people think that, okay, since it's on the computer and you have all the questions on the screen,
Yes.
you can move from the listening to reading, reading to writing, but it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that
No.
way. Oh.
Like when you are in the listening section, you can only move between the different listening sections and you cannot go from listening to reading. But once the listening is done and the reading starts, you can move between the different parts of the reading. So that's how it works.
It's probably better because you don't want to keep jumping from section to section. You just get lost. That's my personal opinion.
And also
anyway.
it goes the same in paper-based. Like
Absolutely.
you have the listening paper,
Everything
then you
is-
have the reading paper. So
Yes, no, we're all listening. The listening
It
test has to be
wouldn't
done
be
first,
possible.
and then you go on to the, because your brain will be just all over the place. So
Yeah.
it's probably better that you
I
do it that
agree.
way with both sections. So
And I have a question.
go ahead.
Can you tell me about the word count in paper-based? Like how can you
Oh,
count?
please don't ask me that question. On the paper base, I mean, what, do you want to count every single word one by one? I mean, you have to because the first task, you have to write 150 words, and then the second task, it's 250 words. So, you guys are lucky. You have the word count, don't
Yes.
you?
How did you know that?
Oh, I don't know. I just guessed because of word. On the computer, the computer counts the words for you.
Yeah. The computer took the responsibility of counting the words for me. Like maybe you
Lucky.
should just keep save 2 to 3 minutes to count the words at the end of the writing section.
That's a bit of a disadvantage on the paper base, I do
Yeah.
admit, definitely.
Yeah. But that was a blessing in computer-based. Like I could see how many words I had written in the computer, like on the screen.
Yeah.
So it was much easier for me to handle things and manage
You
my time.
concentrate on the other tasks.
Yep,
Like,
right.
let's talk about punctuation for a second. So, is that the same as the paper-based? I mean, when you're talking about obviously listening, reading, and writing, everything has to be correct. The commas, the full stops, capital letters. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work? Do you get corrected with the?
Actually,
computer?
if you want to talk about the writing section, because punctuation in writing is important,
Very
because you
important.
are the one writing sentences, it's totally the same as
Right.
the paper-based.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense because you are based on that criteria of grammar and punctuation.
Yes.
Has
You
to
should
be
just be
correct.
consistent with punctuation rules. Like you should just use the capital letters for some special names or country names, city names, or
Stuff like that. Stuff
yeah.
that would definitely need to concentrate on to not make mistakes with the punctuation so you don't get marked down in either of the versions of
Yeah,
this
but you should be
test.
very careful because
Very
punctuation
careful.
is important in the
It's very
grammar
important.
criteria. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
you
very
don't want to make
important.
mistakes on that one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we had lots of questions, right? I had lots of questions for you. You had lots of
I know.
questions for me.
We tried our best, didn't we? So
Yeah.
I guess
Okay.
we'll-
Yeah, but I still have got a lot to tell you, Samson. I think what we can
Wow.
do is to just talk about some other things related to computer-based and paper-based in another video.
That's a
just
very
get
good idea.
zoom in on the different sections like the reading and listening, because I have got a lot to tell you about the reading and listening, the different question types you might face, how to answer them, like should you type, should you click, how should you do that?
yeah, I'm curious to hear about it. And we've got the old-fashioned paper base, and we can compare some of these. And
Yeah.
I think it's a very good idea, guys. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. We are Ross IELTS Academy. See you next time.
See you soon.